Hello everyone, we are doing Curi-OH or Curi-NO today. It's kind of a fun tier list. I didn't want to put them like in exact tiers, wanted to have fun categories. So we're going to go naturally through all the well, not all the curios. We'll be dodging Colors of Madness, like objective quests and all that kind of stuff. Oh, and Crimson Court, that's the one. So we will be doing like base game and all the dungeon stuff, and also ones you'll obviously find within all dungeons. So that's where we're going to begin. And before we get too much further, I will be having background music in this, courtesy stock of YouTube here. So it's going to change. It's going to be a little odd. I'm going to try to keep it lower. But we'll see how it goes, because having just blank audio behind me can be a little boring. And per the usual, like, subscribe, comment down below, yada yada. Patreon if you want to support me. Link in the description. And I will put all these tiers in the description. And I haven't decided yet, but I'll try to flash which category each one is in as we go. But we'll see how we do. And yes, I guess the categories I'll be defining as there is O, big O, no, and that's pretty much it. So let's get to it. Crate. I mean, it's O. Like, you know, you're like, alright, I'll do it every time if there's an antiquarian, you know, it's free money. So I'll always do crates, nothing bad about it. Discard it back. O, once again, I'll always do it. There's really nothing bad, just a chance of nothing. Antiquarian's really great. Eldritch Altar. Big O, because removing negative quirks is amazing. Now, Eldritch Altar was a close to no if you didn't have any of the like holy water with you, but it's still removing a negative quirk. It's thousands of gold in a week. You don't have to spend in sanitarium, which is amazing. Heirloom Chest, Curi-OH. It's, I mean, even with a little bit of this being trapped, if you always have a key, ×4 on heirlooms, just a great way to get a lot of heirlooms and progress yourself very quickly. So definitely a no. Sack, Curi-OH, once again, if you got an antiquarian, 75% chance you're walking out with 500 bucks or more, plus on top whatever is in here. Sconce, Curi-OH, once again, antiquarian, money, always get a torch, nothing bad, always activate. Shambler's Altar, Curi-OH, no? It's one of those things, you know what, I actually don't mind seeing them in the very beginning of the game. They do need a torch, which you almost always have. So if you want good Shambler trinkets early on in Apprentice, it's an O. If you see it in champion level and you don't have a party for it, it's a no. So that's probably, I think, the only one I have a weird hybrid role for. Stack of books, Curi, no. Unless you're doing like a, you know, a virtue farming cheese, there's really nothing about it I'm a huge fan of, so I almost always avoid them. You can't even get money from them, so they're just generically bad in my book. Ha, pun intended, kinda. Unlocked Strongbox. It's a Curi-OH. The Blight's kind of annoying, but you know, it's not terrible damage, and once again, antiquarian, money, loot's yours, so it's really not that bad. It's not the greatest of curios to interact with, because the 25% chance is nothing. However, it's still free money. Now we're to the ruins. Alchemy Table, Curi-OH. Even without medicinal herbs, there's technically a 25% chance, though usually you have a medicinal herb. Usually. If not, it's a close to a Curi-NO, but I do pass them in an okay amount. But I usually do have at least a medicinal herb, or if you just want to increase the torchlight to 100, it can actually be pretty big on that. So there is multiple uses for it not to be in the no category. Altar of Light, Curi-OH. 20% damage even without holy water, and 30% damage with, if you get two of these on one character, disturbing things start to happen. So definitely a curio you must always interact with. Bookshelf, Curi-NO, for the same reason as books. I mean, it's just, I guess there's a scouting, positive quirk chance, journal. It's just not something I ever really deal with, because there's no money, which means antiquarians, no. Confession Booth, Curi-OH. So I actually went back through and I misread. It's purge a negative quirk, not get a negative quirk. So really, 50% chance to be good without, 30 stress healing. It's still not something I do very often. However, there is some good stuff with it, with only 15 stress as well. It's not actually extremely negative if you do fail it. Therefore, I do think it's a Curi-OH. Decorative Urn, Curi-OH. You have an okay chance without the proper stuff here. However, we obviously don't want to go smacking with shovels, but holy waters and the ruins are almost always there. Therefore, it is an easy way to get lots of gems, and I do love gems. Once again, with the antiquarian, this is actually a money machine, so I really enjoyed the Decorative Urn. Holy Fountain, Curi-OH. There's just nothing bad. Cure stats effects, 12 HP, 20 stress, even without it, there's some stuff. So you know what? It's just a great thing. Once again, ruins always probably have the holy water, or should. So I think it's pretty good. Iron Maiden Curi-OH. I almost usually have medicinal herb, and I actually like to use medicinal herbs in here instead of alchemy tables. However, there's still a small chance you can get any loot, but I wouldn't recommend it with the chance of a 20% chance to get diseases. Not worth it in my book, but definitely with medicinal herbs. Lock display cabinet. So this one and the lock sarcophagus are kind of weird because if you don't have a key or shovel, it's completely bad, and that does hurt it a little bit. Now, I do keep it as Curi-OH for a lock display cabinet because what you actually get from it is pretty good. But once you get to the lock, this is why I want to compare these two side by side. Once you get to the lock sarcophagus, this is actually Curi-NO. Golden heirlooms times 3, golden heirlooms times 2, gold plus gems times 2, plus gold / trinket times 1. It's like, or I know it gives you a trinket in the sarcophagus, but I'm not really feeling that. Usually I like the ones after you complete the dungeon. Therefore, I do think the lock sarcophagus is a no, because it uses the same items but doesn't really produce the same amount of stuff for you. We get to the sarcophagus, not locked, just sarcophagus. Nothing can go into it, and there's 20% chance to get a negative quirk. No thank you, Curi-NO. Suit of armor, Curi-OH. I mean, how can you disagree? It's just always good. You might as well, I mean, Runes Adventure and Runes Technician are super good, and then 15% protection and dodge. Absolutely, let's go for it. We're on to the Warrens. Bone Altar, Curi-OH. It's just walk into it. Just blammo. 100% chance for 15% damage. Accuracy, crit, absolutely. Cure status effects, like, come on, let's go. Just Bone Altar is amazing. Dinner cart, Curi-OH. I really like good medicinal herbs. You almost always have a lot in the Warrens in general, so I think all of the gold and trinkets and food you're going to get from it's really awesome. Always do it. Makeshift dining table, Curi-OH. Same reasons, always have medicinal herbs. It's not as much as the dinner cart, however, it's still pretty darn good. Moonshine barrel, Curi-OH. Now, without the stuff, it's pretty bad, but as I said, medicinal herbs are very common, and 30% damage until camp, too darn good. Take that 30% chance, Curi-OH. Occult Scrawlings, Curi-NO. It's just, I mean, what are you looking for here? I mean, just, what, the 33% chance for a positive quirk, or do you take minus 20% dodge? Yeah, no, it's bad. It's bad all around. Pile of Bones, Curi-NO. And I know you're like, well, with the antiquarian and the loot and stuff, I just never feel like the loot I get is very good for the holy water I put in. I'm often not running antiquarian in the Warrens anyways, and the loot I get from it doesn't really feel worth it, and without the holy water, it's an absolutely no. So, actually, Curi-NO for Pile of Bones. Pile Scrolls, Curi-OH. Negative quirk removal, always do it. There's a whole bunch of stuff on the side you can read here. Some of it's actually not too bad. It's actually not too terribly much that's painful. What's that, like a 20% chance for pain? Yeah. So even without, it's only 20% chance for pain. I would take it. Rack of Blades, Curi-OH. It's decent gold, gems, food. Even without this stuff, it's only 40% chance to bleed, which you could then use a bandage to heal, but if you had the bandage, most likely you would use it. So that's where I kind of stand on that. Sacrificial Stone, Curi-NO. It's just what I'm looking for here. Like 50% chance to either purge or get a positive. I mean, I don't know. It's not that great. And 50 stress. No, thank you. I enjoy not getting stressed out that much for a potential chance to purge. I mean, because even if I got one of these positive quirks, it may not be the one I want anyways. The only one I would really be shooting for is 1 out of 4, and I'm not taking that if 2 out of those 4 times I'm going to get 100 stress technically. So, Curi-NO. We're on to the Weald Ancient Coffin, Curi-OH. I mean, there's nothing bad about it. It's not particularly great, but, you know, it's not really bad either. So, you know what, just always activate it. Could be money with Antiquarian as well. Beast Carcass, Curi-OH. Once again, I usually like to carry some medicinal herbs around the Weald as well. There is some, what is that, almost 30% chance, negative quirk. So, I mean, it's pretty bad without it. So, it's kind of close to that Curi-NO, but like I said, if you have medicinal herbs, absolutely. Eerie Spiderweb, Curi-OH. Gold gems, trinkets, all that stuff. Without it, there's only a 20% chance. Now, those are both pretty bad, to be honest. So you don't really want to get those. So 1 out of 5 you can actually get pretty decimated. So I would almost always use a bandage, but it's not terrible. And when you do use a cleansing activity, it's actually pretty good. Left luggage. I actually learned, this is one of the two things I actually learned today. There's 2 things I learned going through this. I always just use the key because it just seemed to make the most sense. It was like left luggage, use a key. I didn't know you could use an anti-venom to neutralize the trap. Pretty cool. I might do that more often now, but I don't know. I usually don't carry around anti-venoms anyways, as I really like the Plague Doctor. But even outside of these 2 items, 50% blight, not great, but the other 50% I think makes up for it, so this is definitely a Curi-O. Mummified remains. Curi-O. It's okay, I'm not a huge fan of it, but it's also not bad. Antiquarian once again. Old Tree, Curi-O. Any loot times 3, anti-venom, 25% chance, so you know, only a 25% chance to go wrong without, always 100% with, pretty good. Pristine Fountain, Curi-O. There's nothing wrong with it. 20% stress heal 100% of the time, or 30 stress heal, so you know what? Never bad. Shallow Grave, Curi-O. Now obviously if you don't got a shovel, avoid. I mean, just terrible. So it is tilting on that edge of Curi-No obviously, but if you have plenty of shovels, definitely do it. It's pretty good. Traveler's Tent, Curi-O. There's really not too much that can go wrong. I mean, there is the chance to obviously get, I mean, it's 1 out of 8 to get 25 stress, but that's actually not terrible for the fact that you could scout a lot of areas, or, I mean, look at all this other stuff you get. So it's definitely a Curi-O. Troubling Effigy, Curi-No. I mean, yeah, it's a random positive quirk, but random, it's literally a bunch of random stuff. I almost never do it without a holy water, and I guess if you're maybe trying to like positive quirk farm, go for it, but I don't know. I just don't find it that great, to be honest. Especially in the late game when you have most of your quirks already locked in. Maybe in the very beginning of the game when you're trying to stack on quirks and hope they help you. But other than that, I don't really use them ever. Barnacle Crusted Chest, Curi-O. Even without it, there's only 25% chance to bleed. Times 3 loot with a shovel. I carry a lot of shovels in the Cove because, as you'll see, there's a couple of things throughout the Cove that require this, so definitely that. Base relief or bass relief, not sure how to say that. Curi-No. I mean, sure, you can get a positive quirk, but once again, I just talked about that with the effigy up there. And 33% chance to get a negative quirk, or you can just go get an affliction for yourself, probably. Not really feeling it. Brackish Tide Pool, Curi-No. I mean, with anti-venoms, what, 6 stress? 5 HP, or you can take, I mean, honestly, it's like a permanent holy water, which I guess is kind of cool, but like, I don't know, I'm not feeling it. And then a random disease, it's a Curi-No for me. Eerie Coral, Curi-O. Just always medicinal herbs. Purge, and these appear at a very rapid rate. These are one of the best curios in the game for negative quirk removal. Absolutely pile it on. Fish Idol, Curi-O. The only reason I'm not going to say Curi-O is because there is nothing good about it if you don't cleanse it. And 18% damage, as good as that is, it's not like the 30% chance we find in the Warrens. Therefore, we're just going to call it an O. Still do it, just not the big O. Fish Carcass, Curi-O. It's very good with medicinal herbs. Once again, I carry a lot of those in the Cove, naturally, because I'm looking for Eerie Coral. So definitely do that. Without it, I would avoid because there's some stuff in there. The Red Plague is not great. Definitely don't want to get that 1 out of 8 times. So don't be reaching to fish a lot. Giant Oyster, Curi-O. And this, dog treat. I never knew that. A dog treat, 25 dodge. How crazy is that? I honestly never knew that. So, yeah, you learn something new every day, right? But it's Curi-O, still go with gold and the trinkets and all that, smashing the shovel. Even without, it's not necessarily terrible. 40%, yeah, it sucks, but it's not like a disease, it's not a quirk, and if you have the Plague Doctor or plenty of bandages, you can just wrap that on up, call it a day. Ship's Figurehead, Curi-O. There's nothing wrong with it. Oh, what's that? I'm just going to stress heal 25 to 30, no problem. 20% damage, 4 speed until camp, no problem. You know what I mean? Like, it's just amazing. Just always activate every ship head you see. But yeah, that giant oyster just makes me laugh, man. The oyster seems to like these. Just makes me laugh. I don't know. There's probably a reference to that somewhere. I'm missing it. Please let me know what the reference is. I never knew. I might have to go do it now because I feel like I'm woefully incomplete without knowing that. However, this is the fun tier list. I will do my best to show stuff at the end here. Thank you for watching. Let me know what your favorite curios are and which ones you could honestly care less if they were in the game. Thank you for watching.